Good morning, everyone. It's with such great pleasure to be standing in front of you today, presenting to you DHL4SMEs initiative. We've been going now for 6 months, and it just keeps growing and growing. And it's thanks to you guys. So thank you very much for turning up this morning. Especially, this has been a really busy week, I know, for most people. So thank you so much for coming today. One thing I'd say is that I came this morning, and there was some, just before we started putting our stuff up on the screens, there were some slides that was, nothing is impossible. Nothing is unimaginable, and nothing is unattainable. And I think that's what life is, right? And that we've always got to keep on remembering. The other thing I want to say to you today is that we're going to be doing a presentation with some of the best minds in banking and Microsoft technology. So this is going to be a huge day for us. But the most important thing for us today is that we're going to have microphones around the room, so that if they are going to be doing some speaking here, we want you to interact. We want you to talk to us. We want you to talk to them. Because this is the time that we want them to empower us to make the right decision when it comes to your business. And we all need sometimes that missing piece to the jigsaw. So we're really lucky that we've got CBQ and Microsoft today to give you some real good advice. So now all it leads me to do is, it leads me to introduce to you Martin Encube, AGM Head of Enterprise. Martin.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Good morning, everyone. My name is Martin, as Steve has said. I look after enterprise banking for Commercial Bank. I would like to welcome you all to this event. This is an event that is being co-hosted by Commercial Bank together with Microsoft. An event that is aimed at supporting SMEs and making sure that they run their businesses more profitably and efficiently. This is an initiative that was initially launched last year in October by DHL, together with all its partners. And one of the objectives was obviously to provide the SMEs with expert advice so that they are able to run their businesses and run them efficiently and profitably. So the theme for today's workshop is elevating your businesses through digital as well as financial strategies. That's what we'll be talking about this morning. And we've come up with a number of topics that we'll be discussing. We've got panelists, expert panelists from both Commercial Bank as well as from Microsoft, and they'll be helping us to unpack these discussions. For us as a Commercial Bank, hosting an event like this is a very powerful testimony to our commitment to support, to empower, to train, to mentor, and to guide our SMEs so that they're able to better run their businesses. But before we get into the detail of the discussions, please allow me to welcome on stage our EGM and Chief Wholesale Banking Officer for Commercial Bank, Mr. Fahad Badar, who is going to open this workshop for us, but also give us his opening remarks. Fahad, over to you, sir.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I don't like to stand behind the podium, I feel suffocated. First, thank you very much for all of you for coming here. It's a pleasure to have you in this session. SMEs are the backbone of the Qatar economy. When you look at SMEs around the globe, there is a big focus from all the governments and all the agencies to promote SMEs. And promoting SMEs can be done in different ways, but one of the key things is education. And with our partner in this session, Microsoft Digital. We had the Web Summit for 3 days. I'm not sure if anyone had the opportunity to go there. But if you look at how the world is changing, 10 years ago, did anyone use Talabat? Did you order food or did you just drive to the nearest restaurant? Look at what happened during COVID. The digital innovation and digital landscape has changed significantly. You'll have Fasih from our team talking to you about payments. Payments used to be cash. Now there is a push from the government to go more digital, more point of sale. But even point of sale, eventually those will disappear. You will have other components or other ways that people are paying. Now everyone, if you order any flowers, people will send you a link or you pay online. Look at Apple Pay and what they have changed the ecosystem along with Google Pay and others. I shouldn't be seeing Google here because Microsoft, but maybe we'll have Microsoft Pay one day. But the whole environment is changing. And if we stick, and I'm talking about ourselves as a bank, Microsoft or DHL or yourselves, if you stick to the same ways you are doing business now, you will not survive. In 10 years, you'll become obsolete. And this is where those sessions are important. And it's very important also, if you hear anything that you feel is not relevant, challenge them. You are not here to listen, you are here to participate. And please, even in our banking services, if you have any comment that you have, anything that you are not happy, we want to listen to you. Immediately, I have lots of members of my team here. Tell them you are not happy. This is not working. This is not acceptable. We love to hear that because in the end, we want to improve our services to you. And the only way we can improve it is if we listen to you and if we listen to an honest feedback and criticism. We are happy to take it. So please use the best of this session. You know, we have offered you some nice food in the back, and please also network among yourself because in today's session, maybe you will meet someone else that you can generate business with, and we'll be very happy to facilitate that. So again, Martin, thank you very much. Thank you so much to DHL. Thank you so much for Microsoft, and I wish you the best in this session. Thank you so much.
It gives me great pleasure to introduce also from Microsoft, Vedran Travika, Financial Services Industry Lead.
I will follow Mr. Fahad's example, and I will also stand, if you don't mind, and interact with you. I would also like to say thank you to the CBQ team for hosting us and DHL, of course. I'm here on behalf of Microsoft. I go by the first three letters, VED, just to make it easier. And I'm saying how I go by because I'm inviting you to ask all the questions that you may have today. Because what I want to do, and as part of my introduction, is basically to let you know what we are doing here in Qatar, right, as Microsoft team. Because a lot of people know about what we're doing worldwide. We do a great job around announcing our innovation, what our CEO and the leadership team is doing all across the world. But there's always question, but Microsoft team, what are you doing in Qatar? How are you aligning with the Qatar Vision 2030, etc.? So please, I invite you today to ask all the questions. I may not have all the answers to tell you right away, but I will follow up with you and just to make sure that I am able to answer and address all the questions that you may have, right? It's really a great pleasure for us to be part of this initiative. I want to thank everybody, and I'm really looking forward to it because this week has been amazing. Like Web Summit, all the energy, Thursday, all the energy. So I'm really looking forward to have this interactive session with you. And please feel free to ask anything, right? This is my brief introduction about me. If you have any questions, just let me know. Perfect.
That just now all I've got to do now is introduce the panel. And boy, have we got some wonderful guests for our panel. So if we can ask Martin. Martin, can you come and join us on the stage, please? We've also got Venkata Prasad. Please, can you join us on the stage, please? Senior AGM Head of Transaction Banking. Fasih Ahmed Khan, please, can you join us on the stage, please? Unit Head Acquiring Cards and Payments. Vedran Travika again, if you can join us again, please. And who's become a very good friend of mine, Jamal. Please, can you join us on the stage, please? Jamal is as your partner to go-to market leader for Central Europe, Middle East, and Africa. We're privileged to have you today. So I believe that we're going to be starting with you, Jamal. No?
No, it's with me.
Oh, I do apologize.
No problem, no problem. Okay, so I had a brief introduction. Now let's get to it, right? So again, it's a big pleasure to be talking to you and meeting you today, right? So again, the objective of the next few minutes is to actually try to bring it closer to what we are doing in Qatar, right? Because I don't know how much you are aware, we actually have Azure data center here locally in Qatar, right? So when we say destination in Qatar, it's also aligning with the Qatar vision to make sure that we bring as many services from technology perspective in Qatar as much as possible. And again, I'm not sure how much of this are you following, how much you are specifically into technology, but about a couple of years back, we announced the opening of the data center, and at that time, it was the data center that is the most secure with all the services. If you can't hear me, just let me know, okay? So from with the most services available here in order to support all different sorts of solutions, which hopefully will make a difference in your life as well, right? Also, it's exciting time for us because I don't know, again, how much you know about this Microsoft, but it's our 50 years that we've been working, right? And our CEO, Satya Nadella, is very great in actually promoting this mission of us reinventing ourselves all the time, right? To make sure we are relevant today as we were on the day number one, which brings all sorts of news and technologies with us. So from that perspective, please let me know how many of you, by show of hands, have heard of Copilot. Excellent. Yeah, this is amazing news. So I wanted to also bring a Copilot a little bit to how I'm using it in day-to-day life and how it can help in the life of SME. For example, very, very specifically, today, for the welcome and the greetings, we actually created within 30 seconds a note to say, hi, it's so great to see you today at this event, and to say hello and welcome to you, right? Now, this is something that maybe it would take me when I'm having an important meeting, when I'm having an important event, would take me a bit of time to actually think about what I would say. Is the grammar correct? Are the keywords emphasized correct? Etc., etc. How have I done this? This is the prompt. Now, it's a bit of small letters, so I don't know how much you can see, but basically, hey, Copilot, I'm attending an event tomorrow. I want to impress with the greetings. Go through all my emails that have DHL4SMEs in the subject of the email and create a greeting. So I was just writing very plain language and saying, please create this for me. And this is how it created, right? Now, again, this Copilot is such an amazing capability, and everything we do around AI, we actually are doing through Copilot as the primary user interface. And I'm talking, we actually, Jamal and I, we're an extended Microsoft team, are talking about this on a daily basis. And for example, because I work with the financial sector here in Qatar, there is so many use cases that I can use. And I think it's useful for anybody that we are talking with. So for example, everybody comes across a lot of documents, right? For example, if there is any documents that are regulating your industry, are there any documents that are becoming a worldwide standards? Anybody else who has done it in a different industry that I'm working with, right? In the food industry, in agriculture, in health, anything. There is any document in PDF format. I basically go and say, dear Copilot, there is this document issued. Tell me what are the 5 key words I need to, 5 key statements that I need to take into consideration. Not only that, what I've seen when it comes to productivity, when it comes to Copilot, for example, if I'm meeting somebody who is critical to me, or I'm meeting somebody by accident in the Web Summit over the last few days, I'm like, Copilot, I'm meeting Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so. Can you go through my emails and see what was the last thing we discussed? Boom, it shows me right away, this is the things that should be on top of your mind as you're discussing it. Or for example, what we face, I think a lot in Microsoft, is somebody will come and say, did you guys see there is something new about Microsoft, right? And it's like, there's so many news coming up. I'm like, Copilot, somebody mentioned something about a certain AI service. What are we doing about this, right? It goes through all my internal documents and it shows me right away so I can answer any question to you, right? So this Copilot is such a game changer. It's amazing in how much productivity it helps us with. And by the way, I've seen that also with the companies that we work with, where before they would, for example, and again, I'm just giving you a real life example, they would have to go through some documents in order to work on a new policy, right? Internal policy, HR policy, right? Please give me a draft of an HR policy. Give me a draft of any new regulation that I want to put in my company. It gives me, I'm not saying 100% perfect, but it gives you a template that you can work on in order to go ahead and actually make your work more efficient. So guys, my warm suggestion to this, please download an app, see how it can help you in order to go through it. Okay, so this is a little bit about Copilot. Now, again, I welcome any questions about what we are doing here in Qatar, but just to make sure that you are aware, we are aligning with the leadership of the country in order to make sure that we are actually supporting the local economy and that we are working on some of actually also key projects, right? So from this perspective, when we are bringing services to Qatar, when we are wanting to do more, wanting to see what are some of the national initiatives, we're actually always aligning to make sure we are supporting what is the top priority of the state of Qatar, right? So for example, I don't know if you were aware, but there was a big announcement also made at the Web Summit about OpenAI coming to Qatar, right? Again, I don't know how much are you into technology aware of this, but this is something that has made a lot of news over the last year or so, and we're also bringing this service into the Qatar, right? So this is amazing things that we are doing. And here we're trying to align really with Qatar vision. So not just with the capabilities and solutions that we can bring that hopefully will help you in your day-to-day work, but for example, also one of the key pillars of the vision is the human development. So for example, we also have the local education center, right, which is in Musharraf. Again, I'm not sure how much people are aware of this, but this is all, here in Qatar in order to support the local economy, right? And we're trying to be part of the key also national initiatives, right? As far key national initiatives, but also to work with our customers on a day-to-day basis, right? So here we are really trying to, as we have our mission, to always empower people and organizations to do more, right? And here I would actually like to open it to you and to welcome any questions that you may have, and Jamal and I will try to address it. Are there any questions? Or you are all impressed with Microsoft and you know how amazing we are?
Yeah, let's keep it interactive. So if you have any questions, feel free.
Please.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Or it has to be like Outlook or Gmail or
So we can all hear you.
WhatsApp.
Excellent question.
Yeah, this Copilot can work on any software, including, let's say, WhatsApp, Gmail, Outlook, any other software.
Excellent. So we have different types of copilots, right? So copilot, I would say to use it as a keyword, but we have it something that's called M365 Copilot, which works with your office surrounding, right? And your documents that are available, for example, on your desktops, laptops, et cetera, right? But we also have Copilot, which is actually enhancing our CRM, for example, our Power BI. So we are actually developing a Copilot to do more and more and more things on a daily basis, up to even to the IT development, et cetera, right? I'm not sure. Would you like to add?
Yeah, so it was built initially for the Microsoft 365 applications like Teams, OneDrive, Word, Excel, Outlook. But gradually it's been growing to integrate with many third-party applications. I don't think WhatsApp is supported if that's one of your main interests for now. But I'm sure very soon, it's rolling out to more third-party applications. The ecosystem is just growing at a very fast pace, where you can expect it any day or any week, for a new announcement to come out. Any other question? Yeah.
Yes, I would like to ask, what added value does Copilot have if we compare it with ChatGPT or Gemini or DeepSeek? So is there something like new that you provide for
You're going into very tough questions right away. Yeah?
or it's just similar, it's like a similar platform?
So again, should I take? Yeah. Okay. So from this perspective, by the way, I was just asking my Copilot, does it work with WhatsApp? So just so you know what I was typing as you were asking the question. So basically, our experience is, right, that here Microsoft is really in a partnership with OpenAI, taking one step ahead of the market in general, right? And there are two perspectives that we're always looking at from our experience, right? One is about the capabilities, right? So from the capabilities point of view, that is always enhancing. So every new day, we're seeing a lot of news coming up with the Copilot being embedded and supporting more and more technologies, right? The other part is the security, right? So you always want to make sure that your privacy, your data security is always respected. So when we combine about the capability that is moving ahead, what is also given into consideration to bring it to Qatar, this capability, right? And taking into consideration the security, we are, believe we are the leaders and we are the best. Now, coming to this question, it always depends on the specific context, right? So from that perspective, we can always have a one-on-one conversation to go into more details. But from this perspective, we believe here we are definitely leaders and trailblazing on what's happening in this area.
I just want to add one point to what Ved mentions. I don't want to say advantage, but the beauty of Copilot is the seamless integration cross-platforms. So when you start and you log into your Windows laptop, right, you see Copilot right there next to the start menu. So it can start helping you from minute one, right, as soon as you log in. And then if you go to your iPhone, Android, any other device, it stays with you and it can fetch information that can help you, answer the prompts that you're questioning from both platforms at the same time. And then if you're using, cloud services like Microsoft Teams or Word or Outlook, and it can seamlessly integrate between what's being published or stored on those applications and your desktop, and it all happens within seconds. So that cross-platform, application and ease of use, I would say, is one of the key advantages over the others.
And if you look at the technology name, it's a Copilot Studio. So since you seem to be more into technology, and you can see how this is actually growing to connect to more and more data sources. And definitely it's a unified UI. We call it unified UI to AI. Please.
Thank you. Just I have a question about the data protection. As we know that Copilot is backed by OpenAI, and there is a lot of question about data privacy to OpenAI. What is the level of protection of the data of your customer, especially for sensitive data for corporate?
Excellent. If you don't mind, I'll start. Just because I work with the banks, and this is the number one question everybody asks about data protection and data privacy. So that's actually what we are bringing with the Copilot. We are actually bringing a whole suite of data security, so to make sure that everybody is always protected, that you know where your data is, how the data is being handled, and to make sure it's always secure. And this is the beauty of what we call M365 Copilot, right? This is on top of our mind. And if you also see how much Microsoft is actually putting an effort and investments into the security to make sure the protection is kept up to the standards and grows on a daily basis, these are billions of dollars that we are investing in. But again, this is a very good and very important question, because a lot of times I've seen, especially when somebody who is coming to it for the first time, they actually in my experience, this is the first part that they want to learn more about because the capabilities, they're impressed, usually. But it's like, okay, so how do you handle my data? And I welcome everybody who is thinking about using this kind of technology to always ask us, any member of our team or our partner system, to make sure the data is always extremely protected. Here, we have all sorts of resources that we can bring to the table. So Jamal and I and our colleagues are equipped to talk about it. If we need to talk to our SILA team, which is our lawyers, so we bring them to the table as well. We talk about how the data is actually being processed to the level of the metadata and how the PII is being actually protected. This is all covered in documents such as our DPA, so it's all publicly available, but we can also bring it to you to make it more, I would say, consumable, right? So you don't go and read every legal letter on our public website, even though it's all there available.
Can I quickly jump in and ask you a question? What's the feedback that your customers are giving you on this, and how are they best utilizing it?
The feedback I'm getting most of the time, Ved, how do I enable my organization to start using it tomorrow? This is the most typical question I get. Now, is it usually possible within 24 hours, depending on the complexity of the organization? But there is a lot of work that needs to be done as the prerequisite, right? So to make sure that the data privacy is addressed, that to make sure that people are aware how to use it, to protect themselves, etc. But they all want to, in my experience day to day, they want to start using it tomorrow.
Is this paid services?
Yes. So you have the free version, okay, but which is, you can download it on your mobile. But yes, most of the time it's a paid enterprise secured option.
But sorry, we have a version of it for SMEs. So if you want to take a guess on how much it costs per user, be my guest. If just what do you think is the number per month per user to get Copilot? Just to
give us a number.
Give us a number, an estimate. Yeah, pretty much. It's around 30 Qatari riyals per user per month. So you can try it for one user. You can start with one user, give it a shot, see how it adds value to your business. And then if you see the value, then you can scale it to the rest of the employees. You have a question in the back?
Hi. Is there any industry-specific customization with Copilot? Since there are so many industries in SME, there are so many banks, industries. Is there any industry-type specification which helps us to understand things in that industry better?
So in my experience, always the first use case in my experience, and this is what we've seen, is always on the productivity, right? On the human productivity. And this usually is somehow industry agnostic, right? Because, for example, as I mentioned, go through my emails, prepare me for a meeting, see what are the documentations, sum it up. I'm responding to some kind of RFP, right? To some procurement process. Let me know, have I done something similar before, et cetera, et cetera. So when it comes to productivity use cases, of course, they are always industry specific, but a lot of it is also just plain productivity and efficiency of actually the staff and employees in the company.
I'm afraid to say, although I said that there was a lot of interaction, we're going to have a break. After the next speaker, we're going to have a break. Sure. And that's the opportunity to get with these guys. I think that I want to get with you guys too, because I want to see how it can improve my services. Exactly. So we're going to be speaking with, now we've got another fantastic speaker, which is Venkata Prasad. You're going to be talking about the digital, look at me, I've got two devices here. I need this Copilot. Online digital banking platforms. So please, it's over to you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It's after speaking after Microsoft, probably may be a difficult thing, but however, I'm talking a subject which you're all very much familiar in your personal lives as well as employees, organizational representatives, performing your roles as part of your businesses. Corporate internet banking. I'm sure if someone raises their hand saying that I've never used my internet banking, I will be surprised. So we all use internet banking. But do we use corporate internet banking of commercial bank or any bank? Is there any person who has never used an internet banking portal for their business purposes? This itself shows the message that everyone uses it. Now let me ask another question. How many people use mobile banking for their corporate roles, to perform their roles as approvers or initiators or checkers or reviewers? Have you used mobile banking? Good. I'm sure this is from Commercial Bank. Reason being, Commercial Bank is the first bank in Qatar market to launch the corporate mobile banking. I have thousands of logins per day. People use it regularly for inquiring, for approving, for initiating, and doing their transactions. Now, okay, we use the word internet banking, we use the word mobile banking. There is another same thing called trade. Trade is where you apply for your guarantees, you request your LCs to be issued, you would like to have information, you would like to apply for a finance, short-term finance. Do you use trade portal for your trade finance related activities? This is another for all your payments, use your internet banking, corporate internet banking. For all your trade finance related requirements, be it LCs, be it guarantees, or be it financing, or seeking information on top of it. What is my outstanding? Which are all the guarantees are becoming due? What is there? What kind of information is coming back and forth from the bank? So this again is trade portal. Today, I can comfortably say over 90% of my customers of Commercial Bank use their trade portal for the purpose of doing their transactions, be it an SME, be it a large corporate customer, or be it a government organization. In case of internet banking also, we see similar kind of experience, more than 90%. Mobile is exclusively used by many people for the purpose of approval. What do we actually use these channels for? Why do we need internet banking when we can send, or when we can ourselves go to the bank, or we can send our driver, or we can send someone for execution of a transaction and then wait, okay, I've sent a transfer or a deposited a check, I need to wait, what happens? I need to know the response, I need to get the acknowledgement, I need to see, where will I check the balance? Where will I check this transaction? If there is no internet banking, I all depend on the backend. I remember when I came in about 10 years back to this country, we used to have customers who come every day to take the statement for the previous day to understand what transactions have happened yesterday. Today, a customer can know their transaction in real time. You can transfer, you can receive payment, you can check your balance, you can present your check through a remote check from your own desk. You don't need to go anywhere else. You scan the check, the transaction goes. So this is what becomes as part of your electronic banking. In this process, the time lag that exists previously between your going, depositing, waiting for the response, or requesting someone to make a transfer, ask, okay, have you delivered to the bank? Okay, did they transfer it? Okay, can you check whether it has been completed or not? Can you take a printout for me? Bring it back to No, nothing is required. So execute your transactions to ensure your transactions have happened, to track your payments. For example, you have remitted money overseas. I'm not talking on the 60-second remittances that happen. In 60 seconds, it's like this. You remit the money before you press your button, you can get the response from the other bank that your account is credited. Now, in case of corporate payments are not just like that. Corporate payments, maybe intermediaries exist. It requires tracking. How does this tracking take place? Previously, a remittance of a SWIFT remittance used to take about 48 to 72 hours. Does it still take the same time? No. How do we know? How do we track it? I call the call center. What call center says, wait on, I'll talk to my guys and come back to you. No. This is available as real time as possible. You submitted the transaction, bank has released the payment, it is there in the intermediary has released the payment, and it has already gone to the other bank. So this entire tracking is also available as part of the SWIFT tracking process, which is available on online platform. You don't need to go anywhere else. It's there on your mobile, it's there on your internet banking. Now, you have issued checks. You would like to ensure that my checks are paid to the correct beneficiary, the correct amount, and the check. You would like to check, and I don't want any fraud to take place. How do I do it? This can happen through, again, inform the bank that these are the checks I have issued, these are the beneficiaries I want to track as they happen. It's available as a part of positive pay on the internet banking itself. So, are they secure? Is this one question that has come to on Copilot? Is it secure? How much my data is secure? How much is secure in case of internet banking? How do we access? Internet banking access today is through a dual level of authentication. You have a password, one is in your mind, one is in your hand. That's your OTP. So you're entering into a secure channel to perform your transactions. Is it possible for someone to do a fraud? Is there a hacking possible? Possibilities can always, everything is possible. But of course, at the same time, we ensure that nothing is possible in terms of the customer data, customer transactions are hacked. This is the kind of security we'll try to put in always, 24/7, every second, every minute, nanosecond. The systems are protected to ensure that no leakage, no hacking takes place. Now, how do we do these transactions? Okay, I'm a one-member organization. I don't know, because why I generally send the paper to bank is bank has got 4 people or 4 eyes, whereas in my case, I'm the owner, everything is mine. No. We suggest to have another originator so that you have an extra layer of looking at your transactions. And second, when you send it to the bank, you write in your hand and give it across. The guy reads Prasad as some other name and sends the remittance. The money doesn't go to the other side. It has to be called back. It has to be sent an amendment. Now, whereas when you're doing it on your online platform, you are in a position to put everything as rightfully required to be. And any data that has been presented into the system is validated to the correctness as well as the size of what is the kind of a name of the bank, are we able to have their IBAN correctly, is the file format for WPCs right, is information that has been presented is an acceptable, scanning has been done, we were also able to do the screening part of it. So this entire process goes through before you press the button. Once you press the button, transaction gets executed with the validation of it. So this is what, in a nutshell, when we talk about internet banking as a flow, internet banking or trade finance portal. In trade finance portal, today what happens, trade predominantly is a paper-based. This is what people all believe. But trade finance, when you're applying for a guarantee, when you're applying for an LC, when you're applying for a finance, these are the things which are simple in terms of a process. Because same information is required for me to execute, the same information is required for you to provide. The documents you scan, upload it. My OCR automatically picks up some of these fields as it is for you to just validate whether what you uploaded and what has been captured. Thankfully, the technology will help us in terms of ensuring that foolproof. So you are doing it in a quick fashion and the bank is able to execute. Previously, I know in the past, if I give a LC request in banks, even today, in some banks, if it is a clean, whether it is a clean transaction or otherwise, if it is a clean transaction, banks generally try to deliver tomorrow. Our belief is it should be delivered today. It should be delivered in a defined time frame. And on online, you submit before 12 o'clock today, you have the transaction executed today if it is clean. Where when I use the word clean, it doesn't require any approval, internal approvals, for the reason that there is no sufficient limit available or there is some exception to be provided because you want the goods to come from a different country than where your supplier is positioned. So where there is no exceptions, the transaction should be delivered. From our perspective, the way we are working is, you should, when you press the button, you should be able to, LC is issued. You should be able to issue the LC. To that extent, we are trying to move forward. Today, we say between 2 to 4 hours, your LC are guaranteed. If they are clean, they are available. Because this is what is supposed to be the power of putting the things in place. We are talking about AI, we are talking about bots, we are talking about eliminating the manual processes. For issuance of an LC or for making a remittance happen, in the back of the mind or in the bank leaving the front office, on the back side, how many activities take place? There are multiple activities take place. If I am supposed to do the sanction screening, AML, or the country screening, all these things, if I have to do it manually, I will never be able to execute a transaction at all. But all these things happen on an automated manner by integrated systems, thanks to technology partners across whoever they are. So that I'm able to read, once you scan the document, I'm reading from the document, and the system populates, takes it forward simultaneously in nanoseconds. It also does the completion of the screening part of it. That's how a remittance happens in 60 seconds. That's how a remittance moves in. It also validates. SWIFT says you can't have a beneficiary's name beyond 35 characters. So that is before you submit the information with and so things. We are also, the data is ensured that the field capacities are correctly put in place so that there is no stoppage of transaction. There is no second oversight of it. So this is what an internet banking or in a mobile banking, you don't need to, today what happens in mobile banking, there are multiple ways of, I can have everything on mobile banking, but I can also I can define what I would like to see. I would like to see, I'm an approver. I would like to see what my transactions are pending for me. So my pending transactions are available. Can I approve them all in bulk or can I approve them one by one? I want to see the transaction details. No problem. You can press, have a look at it. You're comfortable, approve.
I'm sorry to interrupt here, Venkata, because we've got some time, and I want to get some questions, and I want to ask one myself for every SME that we look after. Is when is standing orders coming in? When are we going to be able to do standing orders to make things a lot easier, a lot smoother?
They're already available.
There we go.
They're already available. In fact, we have gone further step ahead. Not just a standing order, you can also have your provide mandate to your beneficiary to directly debit on due dates through the TAMS mechanism or a direct debit mechanism. So that part also we have been propagating substantially. We have been today a Karama bill, a Ooredoo bill or a Vodafone bill or multiple subscriptions can be done using standing order as well as direct debit options.
So just as a quick intro, my name is Jamal Abdair. I'm based here in Qatar. I've been with Microsoft for almost 10 years now. Time does fly. What I do, I worked actually in my previous role as the head of SME and startups for Qatar across Middle East and Africa. And for the past year and a half, I've changed gears a little bit to do go-to-market for our Azure business, which I'm sure you've heard from Ved. The name is very popular these days. But don't worry, we don't need to know what go-to-market is for today's session. Let's focus on startups and SMEs. And in my segment today, I want to discuss with you three main topics. The first one has to do with competitiveness. How can cloud and AI in general keep you ahead of the game? The second one is about scale, and more specifically e-commerce, for those of you who are interested in this domain or might have an e-commerce platform running already. And then the third one is about customer service. And here I'm not talking only about post-sale or servicing customers after they buy a service or product from you, but even in the early, let's say, screening stage that customers go through before choosing a supplier or a service or a product. Okay, so it's going to be very fluent. I won't be having segments. Feel free to just raise your hand. I'll pass on the mic and we can have a conversation. Okay, let's start with staying competitive. So before the whole cloud and AI trend or revolution happened, there was always a gap, and it was a huge gap between large enterprises and SMEs. And it was almost impossible for SMEs to have the same level of tools and quality of tools and services from a technology standpoint that would match what a large enterprise or a large corporation would have, right? And naturally, this gave those large giants an edge whenever they wanted to expand to a new market, whenever they wanted to acquire a new business or venture into a new industry. They always had an advantage over SMEs. Yet, if you see today, and with what we've covered so far with my colleague Ved, all the technologies and tools that the world's largest organizations have access to today are available to each and every SME, no matter where your location is, which industry you are in, and to some extent, which budget you might have. Because the beauty of cloud is that even if we talk about AI or these advanced services, you don't need to allocate a huge amount of money up front for you to acquire that service, right? You can start small. You can subscribe to a service like Copilot, as an example. And with 1, 2, 3 users, you can test it out, play around with it, see from other use cases around the web how other companies have used this to create a competitive edge for them in the market. And then as soon as you start seeing things picking up, then you can scale, right? You can top up. That's the whole model of cloud. It's consumption-based. You can top up that service. You can add more users. You can add more add-ons, and then you can get more and more premium benefits, that come out of it. So if you think about it today, when it comes to go-to-market, when it comes to competing, with large companies in your market or in other industries, there is no excuse for any SME to not be able to be disruptive, right? You have all the tools in your toolkit that allows you to create that edge or disruption in the industry that you operate in. But it really boils down to two main things, I would say. The first one, of course, is being aware about what tools or services exist out there, which currently you're not embracing as a company, and how you can bring those tools to your organization and adopt them. And the second one, which in my opinion is more challenging, because it's very easy to buy something, but it's more challenging to get the people in your organization to switch mindsets, right? And to shift away from the traditional way of doing things to embracing the latest and greatest, technology and tools that you've procured or you've acquired, and make it a core part of your business process. So change management or culture is one of the biggest, I would say, obstacles that business owners face when they want to embark on this transformation, because by nature, as humans, we get in our comfort zone pretty easily if we are used to a certain process or to a certain tool, and then someone brings in something new. It's going to take time, sometimes pushback, right, before embracing that new technology. So that's, around competitiveness, right? You all have an edge today. You should have the confidence that you can reshape the market or the industry that you're in but start thinking about where should I start, right? And there's plenty of content online. I was just having a chat, with a couple of you today. If you go to learning.microsoft.com, there's plenty of free content that you can access. LinkedIn Learning, by the way, is another great platform where you can learn more about all these trends. So that's on competition. Now let's talk scale and specifically e-commerce. I was actually in a panel 2 weeks ago with NAMA, which is one of the entities under the Ministry of Social Work, and we were talking about e-commerce and how we can achieve scale. Now, one of the challenges that SMEs have always raised is, even if we want to have an e-commerce platform, usually the dependency or reliability of these services or platforms is not at its highest levels, especially when there's a surge in demand, when there is a certain festive season or let's say holidays coming through. The user experience has always been mediocre, to say the least. Either the e-commerce platform crashes, or there's a lot of complaints, that the response time is really slow or pretty bad. So what's the solution, for us? And just connecting the dots with what Ved mentioned, you have all these tech giants that have made billion-dollar investments in the markets that you operate in, which gives you an opportunity to get the latest and greatest, scalable services hosted in Qatar, where you are in, so you don't really need to worry about data privacy, data regulation issues, which might be, challenged when you have a discussion with a regulator on whether, this is compliant with Qatar's data privacy rules. So all this is taken care of by Microsoft as soon as, we brought the data centers here. But the advantage is that with those services, there's a very, very important feature called auto-scale. So today, if I'm a business and I have, let's say, an e-commerce platform, I'm not expecting every day to get 100 orders, right, or transactions done on my platform. So why should I invest in a solution that's gonna accommodate 100 orders 24/7, right? I don't need that capacity. It's wasted money, it's a wasted opportunity. I can take that money somewhere else and invest it, in my core business. So what you can do with cloud is something called auto-scale. And when we talk about auto-scale, there's something called scale up or scale out. So those are like the two options. What does that really mean? If today you have this e-commerce platform or mobile application for your business, only when let's say, I don't want to sound too technical, only when the platform, right, that you're running realizes that there's a surge in demand and it's about to, overrun in terms of compute power, it will automatically trigger either a scale up, so it increases the specs, right, of your compute environment. Think of like your iPhone, it goes automatically from 128 gigs to 256 to accommodate more requests. Or what it does, it scales out, which means it creates duplicates of that instance that you're running in order to accommodate that surge in traffic. And then what ends up happening for you is a dual benefit. The first one is your customers don't feel anything, so they don't feel the change. The change is happening in the back end, right? The response time is the same. The quality of the transaction and the experience on the platform is the same, even better in some cases. And then from a cost perspective for you as a business, you're only paying that increase in cost for that period of time. And then as soon as the traffic or the demand drops, you will go back to your normal, more affordable or low-cost bill. So that's the beauty of having, let's say, a smart scale feature or service enabled into your e-commerce platform in order for you to accommodate all these, surge in demand that happen every now and then without having to break your bank. Who in the audience has an e-commerce platform to start off with? Yeah? What do you do as a business? You're in IT? So you sell products, okay, online. Okay. And how have you seen, the, let's say, adoption of e-commerce by your customers? So do you do most of your business in person or it's mainly online? Oh, you recently launched it. Okay. The reason, yeah, you have it as well. What do you do? Kids? Okay, concept store. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll come to that in a bit. Yeah, yeah. Look, one of the trends which we've seen in Qatar is that most small businesses, when they think about selling online, the first thing they think is social media, right? So they go to Instagram, they go to WhatsApp. Even now, you can, post some products and services there. But this is not enough. Social media is a great place to start to promote, to make people aware about what you have, but it's very constrained from analytics perspective, and we can talk about this in a bit. And being able to scale, to meet the demand and the requirements that your customers have in the market. So we always recommend to have two running in parallel. So you have your Instagram, your InstaShop, whatever you want to call it, and then you have your proper e-commerce solution that's running on a scalable platform. Now, why is it important to have both in parallel? If you think about customer service, because you raised this today, right? Most business owners think of customer support as an after-the-fact topic, right? So after the customer comes, buys the product or service, then they're going to raise a ticket, they're going to call me, either the product is defective or there's a delay in delivery or what have you. But if you think about the whole concept of cloud and AI, one of the key advantages of it is to make you proactive, right? And to have this preemptive insight into what's going to be the customer behavior, what's going to be the customer trend, and then tailor your product, services, marketing campaigns to meet what the customer is thinking of, right? And that's how you can gain market share early in the consumer purchase cycle. So I'll give you a very simple example. On Azure, right, which is our cloud platform, you have something called social media analytics. If today you are planning to import a certain product or service, but you don't really know if the Qatari, let's say, residents or citizens are going to be interested in buying this product or service. What you can do, you can run a prompt through Azure Social Media Analytics, and then you can scan all social media platforms that are belonging to users in Qatar, of course, public information, nothing private here that's being searched for. And you can search for certain keywords, for certain phrases, for certain trends, which, for example, customer segment, which age group, which gender, which class of, let's say, consumers are talking about this specifically. And then when you decide to import that product and you want to sell it, then you know ahead of time who's going to be my target market, right? That's just one example. A second one is if you want to integrate it into your e-commerce platform. And I don't know if you've experienced this, but I have. Sometimes I go on a website and I'm just browsing through, different types of products, different pages. And then suddenly, this chatbot pops up and they're like, do you want help, in figuring out what you want to buy? And then it's fully automated. There's no person or human behind it, by the way. But what they do, they analyze your cursor movement, right, on the website. So they know you've spent that much time looking at shoes or at laptops, right, or at iPads, whatever it is. And then depending on your cursor movement or behavior on the website, they can trigger these buying questions. So basically, it's now a revenue generating tool for you. It's no longer a customer support dealing with issues and complaints. And they start positioning the product or service in an intelligent way to the consumer to get them interested in that offer or that product that you have listed over there. And some companies even have taken it to the next level where they help the customer fulfill the order through the same chat window. So as a customer, I don't need to go to a buy or a e-commerce or a marketplace tab in order to place my order. So having these AI capabilities built into your platform, whatever it is, a mobile app, a website, is more attainable today than ever before in order to help you attract the right audience to your market, help you predict what your audience or customers might need, and even in a post-sales example, after the customer buys the product or service from you, whenever they want to come back for a return or a complaint or a question, they don't need to go straight to your human employees, right, that are sitting behind the phone. Let AI, cloud services in general do the heavy lifting for you. And only whenever there is an actual complaint that for some reason or the other cannot be solved using that bot or agent, then the customer or consumer can escalate to your live agent and then the interaction can take place. But having a vision to automate your business processes is important. Start off by just laying down the foundation on a blueprint, on a piece of paper, and then with different tools that exist out there, you can start building this into a process and a system and reduce the dependency on individuals in order to give them more time to do more productive things and also to get your customer satisfaction levels higher. All right? Any questions? That's basically what I wanted to share in this segment.
With all of this, it's a matter of, and I'm just doing this now, I didn't know how I could use an e-commerce platform, but I'm doing quite well now with advisory. So I'm selling time. And it's working really well with me because I've got a bot that's helping me go through all those difficult questions or questions that can be answered easy. And the biggest thing for me was I was a technophobe. I just didn't want to do it. But it just showed me that the capabilities are there to make sure that it takes me step by step. And that's all you've got to do really, is just take it step by step.
Yeah, and trust me, you don't need to be a techie to do those things. Today, it's so easy. There's a saying called low code, no code, right? So those tools that I'm talking about are a low code, no code platform. It's a wizard-like process. That's why I said have your business process mapped out, and then you can just drag and drop, and then within few minutes you can publish it and it's up and running.
Okay, thank you so much indeed. Thank you. Anybody else got any more questions? Okay, so we're going on to, thank you, Jamal.
Thank you.
As always. So how can e-commerce support your business? And we got Farsi to be able to talk to us about this subject.
Hi. Hi, my name's Farsi, so let me follow Jamal. I'm not used to sitting and talking. So I manage the e-commerce business in Commercial Bank. So when I say e-commerce business, is from the payment side. Let me put it across in a very simple way. So when all of this is done and you want to buy, you want to use your card, that's where we come in. So you have a card and you need a system to accept that card online. So that's e-commerce payments. Okay. So in short, I guess today we have seen in the last 5 years e-commerce growing in billions in Qatar. It has had a rapid growth, or the most highest growth across payments, where people from cash have moved to card, and within card, from a card present scenario, which we call is basically buying in retail stores, walking in person. Now those payments have increased to card not present scenario. So that's how we help our customers by providing payment acceptance at the stores. Now here, since it's more about the e-commerce, the online channels, so we have all type of online channel payment acceptance available. We try to promote, or we try to see how we can be able to support all the type of different retailers in accepting payments, making it easy for their customers to pay, reducing the time in terms of payment. So obviously everybody wants to increase business. Every opportunity where you're not able to accept the payment, an instant buy, which is there. A lot of the people go browse the website. They don't have, for example, you don't have a payment option. You can just view. Now, in order to buy, either you need to call or you visit the stores. But the moment you add online payment acceptance, we have seen a growth of from 15 to 25% easy growth from the moment they have introduced e-commerce into their business. Okay. So you need to probably look into every opportunity today, building a website. You have people, you have companies available. Adding an e-payment option to that is very simple. It's not very complicated. And today, in case, even if you do not want to add a e-payment option, you have a website. So, you have heard this concept of payment links. So where you're able to send a link through WhatsApp or through an SMS, and your customers are able to pay that. So you can introduce that. It's a very no-brainer service, if I have to say. So you just reach out to the bank, you reach out to Commercial Bank, we guide you, we help you, and within, say, a day you have the service available and you can start it. So what we all need to probably consider, because that's the fastest growing market today, okay? I would not want to say much about it, but probably answer more questions because it's not very different. Everybody probably today is using e-commerce payments on a day-to-day basis, okay? So here probably I would like to say whether how can or what type of service maybe your business is required to increase your sales, make it more easy for your customers to pay. What options do we have as a bank which we can probably guide you through to probably introduce into your channels? Doubts, security, whether it's commercials, expensive, so probably please feel free to ask. So it's not a very complicated or difficult subject. Okay, I don't want me to probably keep mentioning about it, or rather hear more from your side, answer your questions, clear your doubts, okay, or probably even guide you through if you do not have idea of, say, companies who can do it. So we associate with companies who help merchants build their website. We have associated and partnered with companies where a website is ready, but you're not able to integrate a payment option. Okay, so we can introduce you to them. And just all type of options which are available. I'm not sure if you have heard of Amazon Go. There's a concept where you walk in, pick up the goods from an Amazon store, and you walk out. You don't swipe your card. You do not enter any details. You do not tap your card. Did we think it was possible? No, but today we have a store in Qatar which uses a similar concept which works on this platform, an e-commerce platform. So anytime, whenever you're traveling, so there's a store called Lulu Express in HIA metro station, okay, which completely works on the same concept, which is the e-commerce payments. So this was a requirement of a customer. We didn't know, I didn't know it was possible to be achieved. So they put across a challenge to us that this is what we want to do. My first thing was, okay, let me see if it is possible or not. Very much. So it's again a card not present. So you as a customer are present in the store, but your card is not present. So that's how the transaction got converted. You walk in, okay, you go into the store, pick up anything. There are cameras, there's digital sensors which sense the weight of it, and they know what type of product you have picked up at the backend system. The website creates a complete e-trolley for you. You pick it up and you just walk out. So the camera sense that the customer has walked out and his card is already triggered because he's just looking at when he enters over it and it gets billed to your card. Was that possible? Yes, very much. It took time. But then they have created a new concept. Their customers increased obviously over there. A lot of them feel nice, easy, just walk in and walk out. So there are a lot of ways which can be implemented, which can be worked out and make you not lose any opportunity if anybody is visiting your website, your mobile app, okay? Make it easy for him to pay. Today, all of us probably just want, since Apple Pay has come, and what do you want to do? You just want to reduce the number of clicks. Okay, and probably that's one way ahead of getting that customer buy-in. He might not be wanting to, but you make it so easy for him to buy. And that's probably the way we all have to think. Getting e-commerce payments is not very difficult. Today, building a website is not very difficult. But obviously, it is very helpful for all of us where to grow your sales. I guess my targets have increased by 25% this year. I'm sure all your targets, all your company targets, all your sales targets are increasing. If you're not there, probably this is the space where you need to be. And you need to introduce these payment options. An option is available, will it sell or not? Probably leave it, but at least you will not lose an opportunity by introducing these payment options into your businesses today, whether it's retail, whether it's corporate business, everything is being sold on e-commerce today. And every different type of payment acceptance services are available. So one of the things which you see over here is CBV POS. What is it? So today, you don't want to have a website, but you do want to, when you deliver, accept payments. You do not want to carry a device. So your Android phone gets converted into a device. So you do not have to take a device from your payment partner or your bank. So you just download an app, activate as a user, and that Android device can start accepting payments for you. So if you're into the delivery business, or if you want to have certain type of remote acceptance, now a lot of delivery businesses have started up and everybody wants to go and deliver. So there is a person who's calling, say it's a restaurant. He's calling for a delivery. Now either you need to carry the big device. So your driver, most of them have phones today. All of them have phones today. That phone becomes a payment acceptance device for them. So that option will reduce also the cash handling which your driver has to do, right? So your cash management reduces, your risk of reconciliation, wrong amounts, that goes down, and your payments can increase because everybody would want to pay. It obviously increases your ticket size also. This is another option which is there. The CB Pay Merchant app is the payment link which I mentioned about. So that's also available on the mobile app. You do not have a website, you do not have a mobile app, but you want to sell or you want to accept remote payments. So for customers who are calling, who want to book, for customers in your, say, service industry today, probably say you have a garage. Okay, the customer has left the car and you have evaluated, there is a cost, you want him to, you get his approval, okay, you're fine, go ahead, repair it. But suppose if you're not sure if they want to pay or not, you can send an advance request, just put in an amount, put in a reference number, send a link, they pay. So if you're into, say, tuition, so most of this are being used by, home businesses today because it's very easy for them. A lot of people call order, but they're not sure in terms of the payment. So this is kind of an advance payment which can be taken. It's a link. It's a very easy to use. It's like using any of your mobile apps. Just log in, put in an amount, put in the mobile number. The other person receives a link. They do the payment. It is completely secure. Okay, and the payment is received at your end immediately.
There are some players on the market like Amazon Payments, MyFatura, and more service providers, which like long time on the market. Before, unfortunately, banks, they couldn't offer this service. And now, like the main benefits for us, like for a company to switch and work directly for you, can you just mention maybe like it's faster payments or economically it's better, less percentage?
So
Practically, yeah.
Amazon Pay, what's it? Amazon is more of a marketplace, okay? So it's not necessary you need to be with us. Amazon Pay is an additional channel. So you market yourself with Amazon Pay. The customers who go to Amazon will be able to order and do the payment through them. But in case if you do not want to partner with a third party, see, a lot of people over here trust that it's more about security, more about confidence. So when you're dealing with the bank, you're more assured about the entire process around it. Okay, it's hassle-free. Now, when you do with Amazon payment, it depends. When do you get the payment?
Like MyFatura, for example, I guess one time per week, they send all payments for my
Exactly. So
customer, yeah.
these are the fintech companies, or we call them as PSPs, payment service providers, aggregators. What's the difference? For us, it's the next day. Okay, your customer pays today, you get the payment into your account tomorrow, right? So it's the reconciliation also that matches. So today, suppose you're a small company, okay, you might be doing about 10, 20 transactions, but obviously you need to reconcile. So you have statements available to reconcile. It becomes very easy. You tally it with your account. So that's the difference between them and probably directly banking with a bank where things becomes easy. You're anyways doing a lot of other banking services. You do not have to have a partner with 2-3 different organizations to address one specific requirement of yours. The bank is there. You're opening a bank account, which is very much needed for your day-to-day business requirements, right? So at the same time, when you're opening a bank account, you request either for a POS services for our customers who are walking into your stores, or you request for an e-commerce service. It gets activated once you obviously have the website and or the mobile app available. Commercials, I would, being in the market, probably I would say, each of these players also partner with the banks like us. So commercially, probably they would be more expensive, right? But they help you also give the added advantage of customers who are going and looking out for products. That is something we as a bank cannot provide. But they, when he's looking to buy certain specific item or a product, so they pop up and they promote you. But from a payment perspective, we are faster in terms of the payment, at least, which is getting credited to you. Obviously, cash is important for you for your daily day-to-day requirement, and that is faster with compared to the other companies.
Hello. To scale up their business, many SMEs are looking to work together with companies that provide buy now, pay later facilities. Is this something CBQ provides? And if not, what are your insights? How secure these facilities are?
See, buy now, pay later is just a terminology. In terms of security, it's 100% secure. Because as a merchant, as a retailer, you're not taking any risk. All the services, the buy now, pay later, the installment options are being provided by the bank to their customers. Okay. So yes, we do have the buy now, pay later option available. It's currently not available on the e-commerce channel, but very soon you will hear an announcement which will happen where the buy now, pay later option will also be available on the e-commerce side of it. It is very safe and secure. Your payments continue to be the same. So you accept a buy now, pay later today. If you have the option on the card, they say if he chooses 3 months as an installment plan at the time of transaction, you as a merchant are getting the full payment. It's only that the customer will be paying to his bank in installments. So that service is surely available with Commercial Bank, yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We've got Jamal back on the stage, and we're going to be talking about managing internal and external threats.
I'll just start off by like a couple of questions. Do you think SMEs, usually if you assume you're a hacker or like you're a cybersecurity expert and you want to target someone, would you target an SME or CBQ, just for the sake of the example? They're easier to target, right? And then you have a bigger volume of SMEs, so you can target multiple entities at the same time. So that's the right answer. Many SMEs have this misconception that, we're too small, we're not on the radar, hackers won't even look at us, they're gonna go after the big entities because probably they have more data, they're gonna pay us more money, if you've heard about ransomware. But the truth is, SMEs are actually the primary target for hackers. Because of the different angles, I would say, that SME organizations are usually having, one of which is that they tend to take cybersecurity very lightly. They don't invest in the right tools in order to secure your parameters. And even sometimes from a awareness perspective, many SMEs don't have these continuous awareness sessions done for their employees to make them aware about what's considered fishy email, right? Like a phishing email, or which email is legit, just to give an example. But as I said earlier, I'm not going to repeat myself. The tools are there. They're very affordable, and you can get them to secure your environment. Another question for you, does any of you still log in to any application with just a password? Do you have this in your organization, where you just use a password, if you know it, you're in? Or do you all have dual factor authentication enabled? You all have it? Okay, that's the first basic thing that you can start with. It costs $0, 0 riyals. It's free, right? There's a lot of tools from Microsoft. You have Microsoft Authenticator. You can download it on your phone, and you can just have this dual level of authentication there to make sure that even if someone guesses your password or sees your password somewhere, they're not going into your accounts and accessing data, which is today super important for any organization. And then the last question that I have for you is, when you think today of data leakage, would this cost you as an organization a lot of money, or even if documents or let's say data get leaked, for you it's just another day in the business, you can continue your business as usual without any impact? Have you ever measured the impact of what a data leak or a data leakage incident might have on your business? Did that idea ever cross your mind? No? So look, it's something that many business owners don't technically think of, right? They, for one reason or the other, they either assume that the data is safe in that server that's sitting in their office, or that someone is taking care of it, right? So it's either one of two. But the cost of data leakage, especially in today's world, where they say data is the new oil, right, for organizations, is substantial. So think about your customer records, for example, being leaked to the public, right? Intentionally or unintentionally. It can happen either way. This could cost your business hundreds of thousands of dollars, if I don't want to say millions, right? And the trust that your customers would have with you would be substantially eroded. So there are tools that are out there as well which use AI in order to classify the documents that you have or the information that you have automatically without human intervention. So this helps reduce the risk of data leakage, whether it's going to happen intentionally by someone who has let's say a bad intention towards your organization, an employee who's going to leave, they might send this out to the public, or sometimes by mistake, right? And all humans are prone to make mistakes. So sometimes by mistake, an email that was supposed to be sent internally gets sent externally with a confidential, attachment to it. So using tools like Purview, that's, the name of the service. If you want to go on YouTube and watch a video about it, it can sanction automatically the documents that you have based on certain triggers. So either a keyword, or maybe like a passport number format or a QID number format. So it detects those, let's say, phrases inside any document that you might have, Word, email, PDF, Excel, whatever, right? Even images. Because what it does, it goes through those documents and it can automatically detect the format of that trigger that you've identified. And then when that format is detected, automatically the document becomes sanctioned, aka it becomes safe. Now, if for one reason or the other you want to manually adjust that, you can always do it, but you can have AI do it for you in order to make sure that your data is safe. So those are just the three things I want to leave you with. Make sure that you take cybersecurity seriously. Start with yourself, the identity, password management. That's one of the basic things that you can take. And then slowly, start thinking about prioritizing cybersecurity in every element of your business, such as documents and data, which they are proven to be much more valuable, than other elements of the business, which in the past were considered more precious than information and customer data. With that, I'll leave you to it. I know we're running out of time. If you have any questions, I'll be just right here and we can have a conversation. Thanks a lot.
Jamal, thank you so much indeed. Our next panelist is Martin. Martin's going to be talking about required documentation to open and maintain a local bank account and process of continuously updating the documents. And this is a really big subject.
Thanks. Thank you. Thanks, Stephen. Good morning. It's still morning. It's not yet afternoon. It's the last discussion of the day, and certainly not the least important. What I'm going to be talking about are the requirements for one to set up a banking relationship or to open an account with a bank. I know some of you may already have existing relationships. You might have already opened an account with a bank, or you might be wanting to open an account with a bank as a business. So there are basically three types of registrations that are very common in this market. So there is the MOCI registration, which is a registration with the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. There is the QFC registration, that's the Qatar Financial Center. And then there's the QFZ, the Qatar Free Zone. So for each of these registrations, you get a different type of license or a different type of registration. Now, armed with this registration, there are quite a number of other requirements that we need as a bank for you to open an account. So you bring in your certificate of registration or your license that you'd have gotten either from the QFC or QFZ, or your CR, which is your company registration. You complete an application form. It's an online application form that you complete with the bank. And we decided to go this route because we realized that the future of banking, in fact, the future of business is digital. And as part of our transformation program, no one wants to be left behind. So we want to eliminate as much as possible paperwork and make sure that when you fill in the application, you digitally complete the application, in the comfort of your home, in the comfort of your offices, without having to visit a branch or to fill in a manual form. So, and I'll take you through the process, what happens thereafter, but let's just quickly go through the requirements. So after having completed the application form, you also need an establishment card, also referred to as the computer card, right? So that's one of the requirements that you need. You need articles of association to set up a business as well. And you need a delegation letter. So normally a delegation letter is a letter that you get from your authorized signatories. It's a mandate letter that tells us who is going to be responsible for signing what documents, how many people are going to be responsible for signing whenever transactions are being conducted by the officials of the company. You also need a tax certificate, either for MOCI or for a QFC registration. So that's one of the requirements that you need to make sure it is ready before you start the process of account opening. QID is obviously a requirement. QIDs or passports for expert owners, you need to have those in place. And assuming that, and this doesn't happen frequently, that you get SMEs that are owned by other companies, but if it so happens that your business is owned by another business, so we would need copies of the CR of, the owners of the company. So that would be another requirement. But this doesn't happen frequently with small to medium enterprises. It's very common with large corporates. But with SMEs, it's either 2 or 3 partners, that come together to form a company, and then they open an account. And then the last requirement is obviously one contentious one. It's the minimum opening balance, which is currently at 50,000. But again, depending on the profile of a customer, because when customers open accounts with us, we profile them and segment them based on a number of parameters. Either we look at your sales turnover, we look at your low-cost deposits that you have with the bank, we look at the number of employees that you have. So depending on the profile of customer or the segment that you've been put into, we can waive some of the requirements, and the account opening balance is one of those. So if you can demonstrate to the bank that, look, my account is going to be an active account, but I'm not able to raise the balance now, we are able to waive such. So these are the minimum requirements for one to open an account. But what is the process? What do I do after having put together all these documents? So as indicated earlier on, we would like to create a platform where customers can open accounts in the comfort of their homes or in the comfort of their offices. So we are perfecting our digital account opening process to make sure that it is digital from end to end. It's not just the completion of the application form that is digital, but it's the back-end processes as well that are automated. Now, the process that you follow is that you complete the application online. And you need to make sure that it's fully completed. So when the application has been completed, you then upload all the documents that are required, the minimum documents that are required. You upload them, and then you select a branch where you would like to go and finish the transaction. Digital signatures are not allowed in the country at the moment, although there's a process to try and legalize digital signatures. So that's the only reason why you need to visit a branch, because to finish the process, you need to go and append a wet signature to your application form. But otherwise, the process is that you complete, you upload, you select a branch of your choice where you'd like to go and finalize the process, and you press send. Right? When that application goes to a branch, you are then given a reference number, which reference number you are then going to use to make an appointment to go and finalize the process at a branch. And if all the documentation is submitted, this process should fairly be completed within 5 working days. You should be able to get your account opened within 5 working days. Now, the new process that we are working on, we want to make sure that an account can be opened within a day. So we should be able to roll out the new digital account opening process within the next 30 to 45 days, where customers will be able to open an account within a day. So before I then move on to another subject that is, very contentious of KYC, I would like maybe to take a pause and hear if there are any comments or if there are any questions in as far as the requirements and the process of account opening is concerned.
Hi, thank you. We're hearing a lot about the emerging role of AI in speeding up the process of KYC. Is that something that you started applying in the bank or in Qatar in general, or it's still like unfamiliar?
Yeah, so thank you very much for that question. The process of eKYC is actually a requirement that has been put forward to all the financial institutions by the central bank. So we are working on eKYC to make sure that we can validate our customers using AI tools and other tools that are available. But yes, it's a process that is currently underway. If there are no other questions about account opening, I'll move on to the maintenance of the account. So after opening the account, what happens? I think my colleague from Microsoft spoke about data integrity. It's very important that we keep accurate information in the system, we keep information that is current, and our appeal to you as our customers is that you continuously update the information so that we have current information, and in as far as contact details are concerned, we have contact details of the primary persons that we should be dealing with in your organizations. Depending on the profile of your customer or the segment of your customer, you are supposed to update your records, your KYC records, either annually, or after every 2 years, or after every 3 years. Now, how do you get to know that I update my documents annually, or after 2 years or after 3 years? They are expiring documents. If you look at QIDs normally expire after 12 months or after 24 months. CRRs or licenses expire after 12 months. So these must be renewed, right? Passports expire after a certain period. Computer cards expire after a certain period, and these need to be renewed. So what we do is we send reminders to our customers. And we send reminders starting from 45 days before a document expires. So if your CRA is going to expire 45 days from today, we'll send you a reminder today. We'll send you a reminder 30 days before expiry. We'll send you a reminder 15 days before expiry. We'll send you a reminder on the day of the expiry. We then send you a reminder 30 days after, 60 days after, and 85 days after expiry. So before we put restrictions to your account, which is where a lot of our customers complain to say, but why do you restrict my account? We will have sent you 7 reminders to update your records. And again, our appeal to you is, and this is coming in as a result of customers saying to us, look, emails were sent to a wrong person. And we're appealing to you to say, make sure that the information in the system is correct so that you get accurate information, you get accurate updates. So it's very important that we maintain accurate data in the system for data integrity, to protect yourself as well from fraudulent transactions, and also identity fraud, because this is one of the most common frauds that are currently happening. Identity fraud. So it's important that you provide us with current information, current documents, and make sure that they are updated as and when they expire, or well before they expire. So this is what I wanted to discuss with you in as far as KYC is concerned, because we get a lot of our customers who complain about KYC, or who get charged at some point because after the expiry of the document, we then start levying you certain fees. And customers will then complain to say, but why are you charging me for this? So it is really our appeal. We would like to help you as much as we can. It's the reason why we start sending these reminders to you 45 days before the expiry. Again, I know we've got time constraints, Steve, but I will open the floor for discussions, for questions, so that we can then debate on some of these things. Thank you.
I haven't got as much experience as obviously CBQ, but we've helped about 200 companies to establish here. And the biggest thing that I would say to anybody is they all sometimes complain that it takes so long. In fact, it doesn't take long unless if you've got all your documentations in place. Make sure you don't even kind of think about it before you've got everything in place. Otherwise, it's pointless. It really is pointless.
Yeah, just a comment. Introduction again. So I look after SMEs. We call it enterprise banking, but otherwise it's small to medium enterprises, right? And what we would like to do is to make sure that anybody who wants to start a banking relationship, top of their mind, they must think CBQ, right? And they must think CBQ because of our processes, because of our products, because of our channels, and because of our offerings. So we would like to make sure that we make the process of customer onboarding as painless as possible. Because I know how difficult it can be, or how painful it can be to open an account, right? And we want to make sure that that process is as simplified as it can be.
Okay, Martin, thank you so much indeed.
Thank you, Steve.
If I can have just 2 minutes of your time. You heard me, and I was going to walk off without the microphone. You heard me say at the very beginning, subject matter experts. And I'd like to bring your attention to the subject matter experts that's part of this initiative, DHL4SMEs. We have Altamimi, Commercial Bank. We have DHL, Microsoft, Ogilvy, Sabre, Sharuk, great company, by the way, Vodafone, and Workington. They're all subject matter experts. What we want you to do, these are all free events that's going to be held once or twice a month. What we want you to do is feed back to us, if you can, through the website that you registered, is feedback to us any questions, anything you're virtually connected to Martin now. You're virtually connected to the top people at DHL. Because when you send that information through or a question that you want us to answer, then we're going to answer for you. And we're going to bring you back the right answer. So that's the one thing. So we just want to help you as much as, and that's what we're here to do, is support SMEs. That was the dream, that was our aspirations, was to support you guys.